Hello. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate all the kind comments and all the likes and subscribes. My name is Linda. I live in Canada. And I thought I would start, I don't know if it's going to be a series, but probably. I'm a big one for alliteration, and I thought, well, we're junk journalers, so I'm going to do a thing that I'm going to call Trashy Tuesday. And if that's somebody else's hashtag or somebody else came up with it, that's pretty cool, because, you know, alliteration and trash and junk journalers, they kind of go hand in hand, right? So I've got a small sampling of what you could call trash. Things that you would normally throw in a recycling bin. Little box from some cookies, that would make a great little cover for a journal. Little, like, these flyers you get in the mail. Another flyer. This is like for elections BC, which is like got an election map and nice fold out thing. And then this, these are from HelloFresh. I can't use them because I've used HelloFresh before, and HelloFresh is only for new members, so these are full-on trash because I can't use them. But they are the perfect size for a journal card. So I thought I would start with these because they're a really good size. And then this I would not throw away. There's glue on here. If you use that kind of thing, you would have to go like that and pull the glue off, so that it's not, because nothing will stick to that, or it will stick to that, but it won't permanently stick. And yeah, so I may use this as well, but I'm going to start with these two little things. So for supplies, I have my small little cutting mat, and I cleaned up and put away my X-Acto knife. So I've got two sizes of scissors. I've got a glue stick that came from the dollar store, and I have found this Jot glue from Dollar Tree is one of the better glue sticks, but I'm not a huge fan of glue sticks. So I also have my Barely Arts because I think that it will work better, especially on the shiny side of this. I have a spreader for my glue. I have a ruler. And then you've got to cover it with something because it can't be like, otherwise you're not making it from trash to something not trash. It stays trash, right? So I have a little book with numbers and tables and cool little math symbols. So I'm going to use this for sure. I'm working on, one sec, I will just grab it. I'm working on a steampunk botanical field notes journal thing. And I want to make something to go in like tucks and pockets and flippy flappy things. So I am specifically thinking of this for what I'm doing right now. So I've got this, which is numbers and looks very like somebody would be writing in. I have this absolutely amazing vintage floral or forestry book with tables, more tables, bugs. That might be the only bug. That's probably a spruce pine beetle, most likely. Map of BC. All kinds of stuff. Like, this is so much fun. I will probably use portions of that. I have like just vintage books. Because of the patina of them, I can use this like as a solid on the background and then cover it with other stuff. Not sure. And then other books, just, you know, because if you're going to do something like this, books are a really nice option. Then I have a whole bunch of pre-done fussy cuts that I generated specifically for this journal. So I've got florals, I've got like some fussy cut flowers, I've got labels and cogs and gears and birds. And then from excuse my arm, before I moved here, I had a whole bunch. I've got so many bird books, it's kind of a little bit silly, like super silly. I really need to stop buying bird books, but every time I see one, I go, oh, I don't know if I've got that one, so I buy it. And it was actually better to cut my birds into fussy cuts before I moved here than move the books. So I have like birds and birds. You could call me a bird brain. I have lots and lots of birds. Lots of birds. I'm going to move my mat out of the way, partly so it doesn't, hopefully this doesn't glare too bad. I'm trying to figure out where best. Let's move my ring light there. That looks like it gives you a little less, small bit less shine. Hopefully. So I'm going to start by covering this. I think what I'll use to start with, this is, I don't know if this is rag paper. I'm not really familiar with paper, but this has got like, it's almost fuzzy. It's got a nap to it. It's, and then it's got like, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see there's like this really cool embossed thingamy right here, and it looks like it's very well loved, extremely well loved. This is very heavy, this fly page, so that could work strictly as a almost like cardstock because it's so heavy. It is fairly like damaged, but that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, and look, it's got that embossing up here too. I wonder if that's throughout that book. I got this like an entire box of books at an auction, and hardly spent anything on them. And I don't know if anybody has watched Curiosity Inc., but he does auctions from his hoarder houses often. And when he gets to the end of what he's going through, if he gets tired, he just dumps everything in a box. And those are so much fun to bid on because you don't know what you're getting. And you can get some real amazing things in his, like real amazing things. I bought an entire box of train books from him last year. One of those will go into a journal at some point in time. And I am going to use my glue, my Barely Art. I want to call it art glitter glue because that's what everybody else uses, and I just like, so it's almost like, you know, you hear it enough and you think that's what you're using, and it's not. I started using Barely Arts because in Canada, it can sometimes be difficult to get art glitter glue because they don't ship in the winter because it freezes and it changes the composition of it. So they won't ship it if you live in certain provinces in Canada. Like, you just can't get it in the winter. I do have a little corner punch, and I might come back and do those corners a little better. And let's use this little one with... I'm not that concerned about the weight of the paper being completely different. I am more worried about what's behind it showing through. So I think I'm actually going to put something on there before I put that paper on, just so that we don't wind up... Oh man, look at vintage ads. I had no idea. I've kind of looked through this but didn't look at... Oh my gosh, those are so amazing. Ah, so amazing. Oh, those are so cool. So cool. Okay, I got sidetracked. My idea for this journal is definitely a bit steampunk, because some of the images that I'm playing with have cogs for petals on the flowers. So, and the lady on the front is definitely quite steampunk. But my idea is kind of like, it started with, I'll show you the maps. Again, distracted. I'm a bit like a squirrel. So it started with this map that I got at a thrift store. They're like a trifold. I covered the back of it. So it's got these amazing maps. That's where it started. And I was like, decided I wanted to do something botanical themed. Like this is a piece of it here. There's it's kind of scattered throughout, so this is a piece of it. So there's all these maps. Oh, I should have pulled that out because that might, well, they're pretty shiny. Okay, I won't use those on these. But that's where it started. I don't even know where I was going with that thought. But my idea is kind of like a like steampunk botanical, and I want to make it look like whoever is using these little things is making notes and actually like writing out their observations and what they see. And again, it's one of those ideas that I have in my head, and I don't know if I can make it come out of my head and be reality, because it's not fully formed. And that's often how I work, is that something will be in my head and it's not complete in my head, but it's only like it's partway in my head, and I have to get it from out of my head into reality, and sometimes it stalls out. So hopefully I can do it. Hopefully I can make that thing what I want it to be. Because it's almost like I have a really clear picture of what I want it to be, and a really muddy picture all at the same time. If it was completely clear, I would be able to just go, this is how I'm going to do it. But I don't know. Trim that down a little bit. I also got 2 books today at the thrift store, and of course I didn't bring them so you can see them. They're Reader's Digest books, and they're destined, both of them. They're identical. One's older than the other. They're destined for being cut out for fussy cuts. They've got, oh, look at me wrecking that, because I was impatient. But we're going to cover that. So, but it's got like animals and birds and flowers, and it'll be perfect for this. Absolutely perfect. That's not perfect for anything. That's a full on. Oh, and I'm just making that worse and worse. Stop poking at it, Linda. It's kind of like a zit, you know, when you poke at zits and you're like, don't poke at that. I'm not going to use my glue spreader because apparently too aggressive. Use my fingernail and hope I'm not as aggressive. So if that works. It's kind of interesting how that little corner and that little corner are identical. That's serendipity. A little bit of the blue shows through at the top, but I think that should be okay. Yeah, that's not bad. And that can be covered with something too so that it doesn't show through quite as much. And when you're using something like this, like these almost pre-made journal cards, you can think about what your end product might be, like how you want it to look when you're finished as you're covering it. You can just kind of go completely random, but you can see it takes, well, because I waffle a bit, that took 17 minutes, but it can take you considerably less time than that if you move faster than I do. You could leave like that little bit of roughness there, and allow that to be almost like patina, or make it look grungy. And I do kind of like that, so I think I'm going to leave that. I'm going to use a bit of this so that I can put that blue on, or the table on there without seeing what's underneath. And this is kind of fun, so you can just, like, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it down like that and let this grunginess be kind of like an added feature of it. You notice the text is upside down, but that doesn't matter because we're putting it so that the plain side is on the top. This also gives you space if you do it like this, that if you don't cover it with a focal image and it's primarily blank on one side, that you can journal a little bit on whichever side is empty. So that would be a thing that you might want to keep into consideration, is how you want to use the end product. And again, I did that again. So think of how you want to use your end product. Do you want one side to be 100% journaling? In which case you might want to use, like, put like a collage on one side and one piece of coffee dyed paper or book page that's an end paper that's blank. However you want it to look is the right way to do it. And I like things like that, where it's like rough and bumpy. I think that adds a bit of fun to it. And I'm not going to worry if the blue comes through here, because I think I'm going to put this table here or here and cover the remainder. And I'm going to glue it all the way edge to edge again, so I cover the blue down here because this is a bit thinner weight. But that, yeah, mostly because this is thinner weight and it covers the blue and gives more of a stable background for that thin paper to sit on. Pull it a little this way so that this is another thing I like about Barely Arts. I've not used art glitter, so I don't know how it compares. My understanding is it adheres quite a bit faster, and partly because my glasses are really lousy, I need the amount of time that it takes for me to wiggle it around. If it glues right away and I can't shift, then it might not be exactly where I want it to be. So I like the ability that Barely Arts gives me to move pieces of paper so that they're completely even. I hope you didn't hear that chair scrape across the floor. That was my neighbors. Like, they're like in their 80s. And I've never heard them pick that chair up to move it. Well, not that I would hear whether they picked it up or not, because, and our places are like super well soundproofed. And yet I hear that chair like 5 or 6 times a day. Pet peeve. Oh, that's funny. That is so funny. I had no idea I was doing that. That was completely random. Completely random. So we have numbers on both edges of that card. How fun is that? Now I'm going to put my pin in my glue for a minute while I figure out which side should have the fussy cut. I think that one, because I like the balance of that being on the left-hand side. So I've got all kinds of things. I've got, oh, that little bird is kind of cool. I like that little bird. I have little birds. I have little flowers. I have flower label thingamies. I have, oh man. I don't know, how are you guys? Like, when you decide you need ephemera for something, do you do like 3 pieces of ephemera, or are you like me and do like 95 million pieces of ephemera? It's like I don't know when to stop. I'll think to myself, I really like that, so I print it out 12 times. Not sure why. Like, who needs 12 of any one thing? Perhaps me. Oh, look at that. So pretty. That you could cover, like if you wanted to do that vertical, you could use that and just put it on top of something else. Almost exactly like that. That's pretty cool. Might not do that with this one, but that would be really cool. I am going to use that little bird because it's so cute. Pardon me while I get my nose in there so I can tell whether or not that's like got a proper up and down. Most likely that's a broken-headed bird. AI has a tendency to put heads on the wrong way, extra legs, hands that don't belong. Yeah, I've seen it all. It's so funny. AI is so funny. It's you can get some really good stuff, you know, like some really good stuff. These are really good. These are really good. But I'm convinced that bird is, I really like that bird, but I'm convinced that head is backwards. Like, that no bird in its right mind would put its head on in that direction. Well, that's nice too. Then I have to fussy cut. And that could take me a minute or two. Oh dear me. Give me a second. Let's see if I can do this really quickly. And apparently I can't fussy cut and talk. And then once I get them all done, I'll go, oh, I don't like that, and go back to the AI one. Because he's like, sorry if I'm not on frame. It's kind of hard to see. I'm trying to do this so you can see and so I can see. And apparently only I can see. You can't. So if you were the kind of person that liked to ink your fussy cuts, you could definitely ink that right now. I don't tend to be the kind of person that inks. I might need to get over doing that. That one's not bad either. I'm still really liking this one. Yeah, we'll put our backwards head bird on there. And then put one of these smallish. I think I said before, everything needs a label. Like everything. Now, to me, that looks like weird without the bird on there. Unbalanced and like weird. But as soon as you put that bird on, it looks like it all belongs. At least to me. But again, you know, when you're doing collage, you need to make it fit what works for you and how you like it. All right. So in like 20 minutes, because the other minutes were just plain waffling. That's one little journal card. And like I said, you could like full use book page, coffee dyed paper, something solid so that you could write on that side. Whatever works. And I would actually put that under a couple of books overnight just to make sure that it lays flat, and that the as the glue dries, it glues flat. But I'll do that off camera because there's no need to do that now. So move our fussy cuts out of the way and do book number 2. This is part of a book. Another secret for collaging is don't overthink it. Just like have fun, go with the flow. If you like it, it's done. That kind of thing. Like you're trying to make something that you like, definitely, but you know, you don't have to think, oh my gosh, that's wrong, because who determines it's wrong? If you like it, it's not wrong. That's what I'm trying to say. You may hear me say that more than once. When I went to art school, one of their big things is, I've heard over and over again this thing about the rule of 3. And I was like, where did that come from? Because like I've been to art school and I never heard the rule of 3 at art school. They talk about quadrants, but quadrants, when they talk about quadrants, they're talking about 9, a grid of 9, not 3 or having 3 objects. They talk about flow and balance and space and color and what you want to be dominant. And so if you're trying to follow a rule, like a rule of 3, and find that you're getting yourself like worked up or agitated, maybe you should not be following the rule. Maybe the rule is the problem and not what you're trying to do. And I'm only saying that having come from this from a slightly different background, because I don't come from this from a paper crafting background, from a scrapbooking background. I come to this from years and years and years of sewing, quilting, art school. I'm going to leave my hobby horse and pretend I didn't go off on a rant. You can as well, because that would probably be better for all of us involved. This is another just thrift store book. I got it because it was probably like 50 cents. It's French. It's got good patina. I like the red at the edges. It's just kind of a bit of fun paper. I might cut that red. Oh, I'm going to use this though. I like that. That's nice. And I am going to cut that red off because I think that would be distracting a bit. And this is pretty lightweight too from the feel of it. It's almost like newsprint. Not quite. It's not quite that lightweight, but really close to newsprint weight. I love that that's got the original imprint's address. And back. The back. We have more numbers. More numbers. I'm going to put that down there. Yeah. Don't want to lose. Okay, no, I can do that. I can also do that and throw a whole lot of glue in the middle of this, just for reasons. I'm hoping those glue lines disappear as this. I kind of don't want to use that spreader because I keep tearing the paper when I do. Okay, that worked. That worked. The end. The end. The end of everything. Isn't it a book or a movie or something? Oh dear. See, then I discover I have that little bit, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to lose that. I'm just going to randomly put some paper over here because I want to put that, one of these on there, and it needs something a bit so that it covers that blue. Oh, that's close. And trim. Yeah, because this is so thin, I'm hoping some of that blue disappears out. Like the glue marks, that it dries and we don't see that. Need one more little piece of paper. Okay, this is pattern paper. We're just going to call it a book page. And hopefully I tore that somewhere close to on screen. On screen. Up there. More numbers. Numbers are cool. This will be the side with all the numbers. I'm not saying anything here. It's not like you're not hearing me talk because I'm mumbling. I'm just not talking. I can't apparently talk and glue at the same time. going to try to not put that dead center like I did with the last one. 2. How are we doing? That. Okay, I think I have time to. So, should we put the fussy cut on that side or that side? What do we think? Or what do I think? Because by the time I ask you that question, it's too late for you to tell me what you think. I mean, you could scream at me and say, no, no, don't put it there, don't put it. Oh, look at me. I keep pulling out these things that are not fussy cut. Going, oh, I like that. That's too tall. I do have 1 second. I'm going to see. Oh, my chair. I'm so sorry about that noise. If I can. 1 moment. Dragonflies. Ah, my chair. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Sounds like a dying moose. Maybe that's what the neighbors are doing with their chair. They're not actually pulling it across the floor. It's a 50-year-old chair and it squeaks when you sit in it. There I go, being judgy McJudge. And I do the same thing. Don't they say, like, don't judge, like, look at the speck in your own eye? Yeah. Apparently none of these are fussy cut either. Oh, there's some really nifty dragonflies in this little pouch. Oh, look at that one. Not a lot of these are cut out. I thought I had spent a whole bunch of time cutting out dragonflies once. Apparently I did not. Or I did it in my head and nowhere else. And these are all tags and florals. So that one or that one. And if we did like that could look really cool. Or that one's pretty small. That would be a shame to waste. That looks like all the little florals I have cut of this style. So could also like just put that at the edge. That would work. Okay, 1 second. Or do we want to do the blue one? Oh, let's do the blue one. Am I even on frame? No. Put all the glue on my thumbnail. over here. That's where I need to be. Yeah, seriously, nobody needs to see me fussy cut. Normally I do my fussy cutting when I'm watching other people do, like other YouTubers. Not that I actually see what they're doing, because I take my glasses off to fussy cut. So I'm, you know, listening more than anything. Yeah, that looks all right. So, in about an hour, because I'm rapid, move all my little elements out of the way. Try to find where I hid card number 1. Ah, here we go. So, we took 2 HelloFresh coupon cards, and we created 2 little fussy cuts, or fussy cuts, sorry, 2 little journal cards. Like I said, you could take and you could like put coffee dyed paper on there, or book page that's like an end paper. I like the fun of that, so we'll leave that. But you know, you could journal over top of that if you use like black ink or even colored ink. So there's my first, what I will call Trashy Tuesday. I have so much trash, so much like things that I used to just full on throw in the recycling bin, but since I started doing this, I've been like, oh, that's fun, I should keep that. So I have all kinds of like little bits and pieces of like junk mail envelopes, or cereal boxes, or cookie boxes, or like all that kind of thing. And I hope you'll come along and do your own trash to treasure. And thanks again for those that have come by, that have liked and subscribed and left such lovely, kind comments. And until next time, have a great and crafty week. See you later. Bye.